Yeah, that could be interesting. I mean, creativity, that's something
Mhm.
where making music, art, things like that, it's just going to get better and better at that because we don't know how to program that mathematically at the moment. So why not have that something
Mm.
as an emergent behavior that
Mm.
evolves?
It's fascinating. I'm
Yeah.
reading a book called Homo Deus, which is the follow-on to Homo sapiens. It talks about our kind of neurological makeup, but really the base is these genetic algorithms, sort of series of steps that allow us to perform certain behaviors. And what was interesting for me is a lot of it seems unconscious how much we're following these algorithms without realizing it ourselves. We're like, wait, we've made a lot of decisions today based on evolutionary sort of algorithms. So at the moment, it's not clear what makes us conscious and why we have more self-awareness than potentially other animals. There's no key component in the brain that they found. So you do wonder at what point something like that comes about. And I'm not saying I know a lot of these sort of GPT models, they're performing a specific function, but when you do get to neural networks and with baked-in algorithms, it's interesting to sort of see, well, how much is not known and how much are we running on our own sort of program without being aware of it.
Yeah, I think again with the emergent behavior, does this get into that social kind of emotional intelligence that people can be very intelligent in one way, analytical, or it could be very intelligent socially or emotional intelligence. So does AI start to, as an emergent behavior, all of a sudden, because I don't know how to train somebody mathematically to become more emotionally intelligent. There's some things you can do, but to be more empathetic, but that's something where it think that way and then say, oh my God, humans are pretty crazy. Let's go a different way. It should be interesting.
I think it's interesting the fact that just looking at the release of GPT 4.0, I know we touched on it before, where there's more human interaction. You do start wondering, well, you look at IQ and EQ, but again, how much of those are just algorithms that are genetic algorithms inside us that could be replicated just based on a number of cues. It's fascinating for me to see the more this, I would say, evolves, but the more this advances. What is the overlap, between actually what we're doing at a sort of biological level and what is at a digital level, very similar algorithms that we could put together to somehow get.
I'll take a stab at a more more grounded approach to it too. Emergent means unexpected, but that could mean basically that things that we as humans see as very separate. So AI is built on pattern recognition, right? It's understanding patterns, and then as you give it information or a question, it tries to generate that response, based on that prediction. And it could just mean too that a lot of things that we see as separate that we're very surprised it can do are actually very similar in a way that our brains just don't really think of them that way. Me taking my dog for a walk or me writing an email, as humans, we see those as very separate tasks and very separate sort of processes to go through. But the patterns behind that might actually be very similar and can translate those two different very separate tasks that we see as separate, but they're actually very similar. They come to like a similar output. Like we see, okay, our dog's back and rested. Okay, you sent the email, but pattern-wise, that can reach the same conclusion around, the actual goal of what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, just sort of thinking in terms of that way too. That maybe, it's just that we see things differently to how models see them, and things that we are perceiving as very separate tasks are actually fundamentally kind of similar in how they can be approached.
While you guys were talking, I put it in ChatGPT what they think the most logical emergent behaviors would be based on ranking of what would be first to last. Of course, the first one's adaptive learning and evolution. It's a complex interaction with physical environments, which, I think that makes sense with the robotic side of things. Collaborative problem solving, social emotional intelligence, unpredictable decision-making, self-improvement and meta-learning, autonomous creativity, ethical reasoning and moral judgment, resource optimization and sustainability solutions, emergent languages and communication protocols, unintended consequences and bias amplification, and then finally, self-awareness and consciousness.
That's funny.
There you go. Yeah.
Just the last two things added
pretty
on at
interesting.
the end there. Self-awareness and consciousness.
Yeah.
You might get that too, but let's see.
Yeah. Don't worry about that though. Don't pay too much attention to this stuff.
Yeah, no. That's all the way in the future.